Hey YouTube, this is Prometheus giving you more gameplay. This time, guys, I'm going to be using my San Francisco 49ers offense, and on defense, I'm going to be using the balance playbook. When I'm playing defense, I just like to use a 34, and I like to run just the basics quarters, and I do basically over the top coverage. I do underneath and over the top, and have cloud flats. That's my basic coverage. You know, it is the meta coverage right now, and it just works very effectively with the matching principles and stuff like that. Right here, this opponent that I'm going against, actually the guy's ranked in the top 900 nationally, and he basically is a ball control person. So you're going to see him actually just running the ball continuously, just keep running the ball and pounding the ball, and putting himself in a situation where he's keeping the chains short, which ironically is my mentality too. I want to go ahead and try to establish the run as much as possible, make my opponent forced to stop the run, and try to keep the chains as short as possible, not being in situations where I'm doing 3rd and 10s on a regular basis because I'm trying to lob the ball over the top. So I'd rather keep everything underneath, and if I can't expose my opponent over the top, I'll take that option. But for the most part, I want my opponent to just realize that every time they play against me in a game, they are going to basically have to worry about me grinding the ball down the field and have control of the clock management. So you can see right now he's actually going on inside a 3.5 minute drive, so he's basically burning the entire clock. It's a 3rd and 4 situation. This is indicating all the adjustments. He's indicating to me right now he's going to pass the ball. I once was heavy pressure with the 34 defense. This is one of the reasons why I like it, is that you can take the pressure and put it off the edge. And what he smartly does is he takes the lead. Always take the possession lead when you're playing this game. You know it's going to be a long game. You don't know what your opponent's offense is going to be like. And if you can get a possession, coming back and getting a turnover or whatever is the most important thing. Now, on the flip side of that, if you are playing against someone that really knows how to clock manage and all that kind of stuff and milk the clock, you want to be the last person to have a possession too. So you don't want to be in a situation where basically he's gonna get the ball back and get a chance to score before the end of the half. Now, my offensive ebook here for the San Francisco 49ers ran into some quarters players playing a lot of cover 4, and I have some cover 4 beaters. So I have a handful of cover 4 beaters, but this guy actually did a pretty good job and mixing up his defenses, using different types of shells. He was using some meta stuff. He was using like the dime blitz. He was using a lot of man blitzes and stuff like that, and just changing things up. So it wasn't necessarily where I can go in and actually really read his defenses effectively because he kept on jumping out. Right here, I catch him in a 3rd and 1. I've got this little motion wheel route that I've used successfully in my scheme. If you guys want to see it, just go to my Patreon, and you can see how I break these plays down. But really right now all I'm doing is trying to get this clock down as much as possible, get it inside a minute or so, and try to not leave him any time whatsoever with his team. So I'm just dinking and dunking right down the field, milking the clock. I could have took that ball and got a little bit closer in, but I wanted to go ahead and make him basically take a timeout. And this guy's a smart player because he realizes there's a high probability I'm going to score. I could have scored right there, but I pulled back. And he's burning timeouts because he's got a strong arm quarterback, and he's got a lot of good receivers. So he could get himself in field goal range really quick, or maybe get a one-play touchdown. So he's trying to save some time. So right here, I actually go ahead and take his last timeout. I'm going to burn the clock down as much as possible and hit a little whip route on the inside to go up by a score and not give him any time. He actually had no time whatsoever to go and do that. Now, in this type of situation, when you're getting the ball back, the most important thing, if you can go up by 2 possessions, which essentially this would be 11-point lead, is to score as quickly as possible. So don't worry about milking the clock as much as just going up by 2 possessions. Once you go up by 2 possessions against your opponent, they're going to really start stressing out. They're going to start being more predictable, more likely to go ahead and throw the ball and abandon the run. So I wanted to try to get this guy out of his running game because he's really not showing me any kind of tendencies with his passing game, and that's where you can get a lot of turnovers in the passing game. So once again, back to this strong close thing. Get a really bad animation. I think I might have possession catch that for some particular reason. And you'll see this happen again. But once again, he showed me that he's not going to defend a flat. His defender does not come out and play that. I'm able to go and get in the end zone and go up by 2 possessions. So that's my goal right now. Now he jumps into a formation which essentially is an empty set, and he's doing a lot of just motion stuff like that. I typically don't. I don't see a lot of people do with empty. So I'm just curious, what defenses? If you guys jump into, if you see your opponent jump into an empty set, what do you guys see? Like, what do you find is the best defenses versus empty sets? Because personally, I struggle against it. I find that I give up a lot of cheesy yards. So I'm just curious if you could put down in the comments, like, what do you guys run versus empty sets? Because I'm jumping. I don't really have a particular defense that I like to use. If it's a shotgun and there's a running back in the backfield and a tight end, I'm going to use my 34 defense primarily, but when a person goes into empty, I really don't have any kind of a solution for it. So I'm going to be very frank with you that empty is basically kind of my kryptonite right now, because I've ran into several people online that have been able to go up and down the field against my defense with empty, and I feel like I'm not in control of what they're doing, opposed to when I'm in my 34 defense against the right formation set. So right here, he actually throws into double coverage. Luckily, we knock the ball out. We get a 4th and 6 situation. I decided to go ahead and send the dogs because he's got a running back in the backfield. And right here, he throws to his money player, which is Stephon Diggs, and gets those animations. You have to expect that stuff, and he had the right matchup. It wasn't against my best defensive back. It was against, you know, a lower tier defensive back, and he's able to go ahead and get a nice completion with it. So back, I jumped into a quick. I had an audible set up for basically zone drop, so it's going to mess up his reads a little bit because I was using a lot of matching principles. But see how he's got the running back in there. Now I'm jumping back in 34. I want him to try to defend that. Here's another great play that you get from Buffalo's team. His guy actually catches the ball in traffic, comes down with it, and those are things you can expect. He's in a heavier set right now. He's got a tight end, he's got a running back. Motions this guy out to try to I guess try to confuse me a little bit in this type of situation, but he does do a stretch play, and right here I get a lucky tackle to keep him outside of the end zone. The guy looked like he was falling in, so he goes into the goal line formation. I actually go into a 43 formation, bunch all my guys up. He tries to shoot the gap and comes up a little bit short. Not a very good running backfield for this Buffalo team. He no huddles, once again running the same defense and basically going to go ahead and do some flats out there. He gets jumbled up on his guys. He goes back to the opposite side because I've got a bunch of defenders over there. He doesn't know what to do with it, so he throws it across the middle of the field. That's something a smart player would not normally do, and basically goes ahead and throws it. So he chooses to kick the field goal. What would you do in the situation? Down to the 1, down by 2 scores. My personal take is that was a bad decision. Typically I say taking the points is a good thing to do, but in that type of situation, if he doesn't get the ball into the end zone in that type of situation, what he's going to do is going to leave me down on the 1-yard line, putting me in a situation where I could take a safety, or putting me in a situation where basically I have to, you know, really try to work the clock and try to get the ball down the field. So that gets him multiple shots and keeps him close to the end zone. So that was a bad decision on his behalf. Now, right now, 3rd and 4 type of situation, I'm going to go ahead and try to milk the clock as much as possible. I keep showing him this play, but I actually have a backside slant, so when he chases that flat route, I can hit another side of the field, and that's exactly what he did. So because I was able to hit that route 3 different times, and he finally chased it after I showed it to him, I'm able to hit that backside slant. So really good block shed with his run fits right there, and he quickly takes a timeout. He wants to keep all of his time. He wants to try to keep time above the the 2-minute mark, and he's going to start burning his timeouts, because he did get a fairly good stop right there in this type of situation. He knows I'm milking the clock right here. Once again, a little drop down, picked up 5 yards in that route. He burns another timeout to salvage some time. So if I get myself in a situation right here where I might have to punt the ball, and I actually jumped into just a bad play. When I was calling it and I was running, I was like, I shouldn't be doing this, and sure enough, I did not get the reads or the looks I was looking for. I didn't have any other follow-up reads. But here's what Achilles' heels against this guy. I went ahead and kicked the ball, put him on a 3-yard line marker, and now I'm going to send the dogs after him. He gets rid of the ball really fast. He had to get rid of it really quick. He didn't know what to do with it. Come once again with the cover 4, and get him in a safety situation. I'm able to go ahead and shut this guy, finish this guy off. So once again, guys, thank you for your support. If you want to find out a little bit more about this 49ers ebook, just go ahead and go to my Patreon, or just and put some comments down on some of the questions I had for you. So thanks for your support, guys. Until next time.